DC Cookster back for another review. Before I go any further into tonight's review, there are a couple of people saying why I haven't reviewed any new releases. There's a reason for this, and there's two reasons for this. One, I do work quite a fair bit, and two, I don't drive, so it's very difficult for me to get to a cinema as much as I want to. That being said, the weekends soon are going to be my film days, where I'm just going to go to the cinema, watch a couple of films, come back, review them, upload them up to YouTube, and for you all to watch. So, tonight's film is Robocop, 1987. Excuse me. Its release date was July 17th, 1987 in the USA. Its director was Paul Verhoeven. It was made on a budget of $13 million and made $53.4 million in the box office. Its cast consisted of Peter Weller as Robocop, Nancy Allen as Officer Ann Lewis, Kurtwood Smith as Clarence Bodiger. I know I just said that wrong. I do apologise. Ronnie Cox as Dick Jones, and Miguel Ferrer as Bob Morton. There are many other people in this film, but once again, I've got to try and keep these videos very condensed on my phone. So, it is set in Detroit, a near-apocalyptic Detroit, very crime-ridden, and it's run, or just been taken over by a very evil company called OCP. You have Officer Alex Murphy and Officer Ann Lewis basically out on the beat, and they basically get told to go and catch these crime lords who just robbed a bank. Unfortunately, in the process of doing this, Officer Alex Murphy brutally gets murdered, and if you're going to watch this with any kids, I will seriously would suggest some parental guidance on that scene, because it is actually one of the most brutal death scenes I've ever. Well, technically he didn't die, but it's brutal. Okay. Which then leads on to him being turned into Robocop, who then basically tries to enforce the law on Detroit and trying to bring the crime rates down. So, there's the brief outline of the film. I could say a lot more, but if you haven't seen it, I don't want to spoil it for you. If you have seen it, you already know pretty much what's coming. So, Peter Weller as Robocop. To me, he is the Robocop. The one and only. I know that Robert Burke played Robocop in Robocop 3. He was good, but he was no Peter Weller for me. This guy is brilliant. The way, even as Alex Murphy, I know you don't see much of him, but I very much enjoyed that small part you did see. But when he was turned into Robocop, and you see him move, his movement is absolutely brilliant. Very robotic, very quick, very sharp. I actually really enjoyed it. His voice was made for this film. Seriously was. Seriously was. I loved it. It's absolutely brilliant. And you get, you know, like when you get, you had to Terminate where he goes, "I'll be back, hasta la vista, baby." There are two lines in this film which always stick out in my head, which is, "Thank you for your cooperation," and "Dead or alive, you are coming with me." Two brilliant lines in this film. But as itself, Robocop as itself was, I thought, me personally, absolutely brilliant in every way, in absolutely every way as well. Yeah, he was epic. End of story. And if you've seen the film, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And if you love the film as much as I do, you know what I'm talking about. And if you haven't seen the film, and you do get compelled to watch it from this review, you'll know what I'm talking about as well after that. Anyway, moving on to Nancy Allen as Officer Ann Lewis. So she is the kind of cocky, very tough cop, and she is tough. She does lay down the law on one suspect near the beginning of the film. She's very good, and I believe even at the end she gets shot about 3 or 4 times and still manages to help out Robocop as well while being shot. I'd be a mess. being shot 3 or 4 times. To be fair, I was just like, yeah, I'm not moving, I'm done. But to be fair, she's a tough old cookie, this one. She played a role very good. She had that tough, hard side, but she also had that very soft, emotional side, especially when she finds out that Robocop is actually Alex Murphy. There's another scene towards near the end of the film as well, where you see Robocop and Anne Lewis together, which is actually kind of a touching, emotional kind of moment. But all in all, she played it very well. So moving on to Kurtwood Smith, great villain, absolutely great villain. He had this very psychotic, nasty, horrible side to him. But if you've seen this, I hope I'm not the only one that noticed this, but he brought a slight amount of comedy and humour to his role as well. Even though he's supposed to be one of the worst crime boss lords or whatever in the city, he brought some very psychotic, funny humour to his role. If that makes sense. If you've seen the film and you agree with what I said, just put it in the comments below, because it'd be interesting to know if anybody else saw that. He played it very, very well. The way he just portrayed this boss was absolutely brilliant. To be fair, he did not care at all about anything he did or anybody he killed. If he got told to kill somebody, he'd go off and do it. He didn't care about killing, whether he was killing cops or not. He was just a really nasty guy, but played it really, really well. All in all, he did. He was. Like I said, if you agree with anything I just said on Kurtwood Smith's Clarence Bolliger, please just put it in the comments below. He was very, very good. I don't want to give too much away because he's not in. He's in the film a lot, but the scenes that he is in, I could near enough give the film away. But all in all, his performance I thought was very, very good. Like I said, very psychotic, with a slight bit of humour and levity to it as well, which I think made him worse as well, more terrifying is what I'm trying to get at basically. So, moving on to Ronnie Cox as Dick Jones. He was one of the bosses of OCP in the film. He seriously did not like the creation of Robocop. He was also developing his own robot, which basically kept on malfunctioning and all that kind of stuff. And then basically Robocop come along, who didn't malfunction. The only malfunction he had was the fact that his memories from when he was alive come back, which basically then started to change Robocop. That's the only flaw he ever had, Robocop, really, in my eyes. Well, it's not my eyes, it's in the film, but he did not like it. He's very, very evil and sadistical as well. There's I don't want to say that bit because it might give a bit too much away, but if you see, when you watch the film, you'll understand what I'm saying. He played his role very, very good. Was there a little bit of overacting? No, there wasn't any overacting there. He just played it really, really well, I think. Very committed, I think. Even though he's not in the film that much, he's still very enjoyable. There is a great scene with his robot near the beginning. Seriously malfunctions. That's brutal as well. But like I said, if you haven't seen the film, I'm not going to say too much about it. So Miguel Ferrer as Bob Morton. Now Bob Morton was one of these high-rising people that was basically trying to make his way up through OCP as fast as he possibly could, and he came up with this idea about this prototype robot, as in Robocop. And the old man in the film, which is basically his name in the film, the old man basically approves him to develop Robocop. Hence the reason why Dick Jones basically becomes very jealous and very evil towards the end. Well, evil from the start, but he did not like the fact that the old man approved this Bob Morton's creation to be made, I should say. he was very cocky in the film, which I actually kind of liked, but he also knew what he wanted, how he was going to do it. He'd tell the people how it was done and all that. I found him very, very good. He was, to be fair, he was really, really good. He just reminded me of some of the other films, like you see, like it set in the 80s, like these businessmen trying to work their way up through the company as fast as they possibly could, and they'll do pretty much anything to just basically get there. Unfortunately, there is a scene in there where he basically does get killed. That's the only bit I'm going to give away, because it's pretty obvious that it will happen anyway through the film in my eyes. So, once again, it's very hard, because I wanted to talk about each character a lot longer. I really, really did. But unfortunately, where I've had to keep these videos short, I got to keep it very quick. So I do apologise, but there was so much I wanted to say about this film. All in all, the film was very well put together. The music for Robocop is iconic, and we absolutely love it in every single way. Like I said, Peter Weller is Robocop, absolutely brilliant. He is the Robocop, not like the recent remake of 2014. I didn't hate that film, but there's so many flaws for that film, but that will be another review for another day. All in all, there's some great scenes in this film. There's a scene in a petrol station, which I actually do love. There's a fight scene between Robocop and the Ed 209. You also basically see Robocop get shot to hell twice. Well, you get Alex Murphy, and then he basically gets it again as Robocop. The ending act scene bit of it was absolutely brilliant. I actually thoroughly enjoyed this watch. I have watched it thousands of times, and I would love to have done a more in-depth review on this film. I really have, and when I've got all the kit I need, the computer and all that kind of stuff, every single one of these reviews I've done so far, I'm going to redo and go a lot more into depth with them. So it was a bit of a quick fire, basically, review tonight, and I do apologise for that. So, if you agreed with anything I said, put it in the comments down below. If you disagreed, put it in the comments down below. Give my video a like, give it a share. Go onto my Facebook page, Dave Cook Film Reviews and Trailer Reactions. I hope you have a great rest of the day. I shall return again tomorrow for another review, which will chances are be the remake of the Robocop 2014. But there is another film I have to review soon as well, which has actually been asked. It is The Dark Knight Rises, and the other one is Batman vs Superman. I'm holding out on that one because I really, really want to see the extended version before I review it. Anyway, like I said, comment whether you dislike it or not, like it, go onto my page, give it a like, give it a share. I hope you have a great rest of the day. I shall see you all very, very soon. Bye bye.